Jam TV show 148. Yes. Hi, welcome to Jam TV show 148. I forgot to bring the other guys on.
Whoa.
Hey, Bill Novit.
Oops.
Hey, Will Baird.
Will Baird.
Hey, guys.
Matt here, David Robinson. How you doing?
David.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, guys. Hello.
Good to see you. How's life in California?
Life in California is fine. 69 degrees and partly cloudy.
Very nice.
There you go. There you go.
All the leaves are brown.
Very,
Yeah. I'm ready.
very nice.
love
Yeah,
it.
beautiful day here too. How about you, Will Baird? What's going on?
It's great. And everything is terrific as long as you don't ride the subways because they're bursting into flames and the subway stations are crashing. But everything otherwise is
that's not
great
good.
here in Boston. Yeah, we've got a little infrastructure problem. So
That's not good.
yeah.
The
But other than
Beantown
that-
Ride of Thrills.
So that's
Wow.
right. Yeah, stuff is like pieces of concrete are dropping in like right in front of people. They've got like lots of great video of that on TV. It doesn't make you feel like taking public transportation.
And
We'll
what
take
what
car
is the
in.
cause of this? What is the cause
So-
of these fires?
Age.
Obama.
Age
Obama.
and maintenance. Yeah, Obama. No, just age. I mean, this stuff it's old. You know, I rode these trains when I was in college, and that was only 10 years ago.
Yes.
Well, he never returned. No, he never returned. And his fate is still unlearned.
They don't build them like they used to.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
And what about you? You're a mother-in-law now, right, Bill Noman?
Yeah, I had a wedding last weekend, and it was thank you. It was the lead up. There's so many things, and I know Dave, you know this, but like the lead up is there's so much stuff that you sit there and you're scratching your head, and the way weddings are done today, they're just so much of a big production, and and there's so many more little facets to it that didn't exist when I got married. When I got married, it was kind of, like, relatively speaking, it was like when the Waltons got married. It was just like.
So what facets?
Where's my harmonica? Wait, I gotta
what
find the
facets are there now? Like what
Well,
additional
there's just
facets?
events. There are just so many events.
Yeah.
Thursday night we arrive in Vermont on Thursday night, and there's a barbecue, which is that's just kind of a family event, but still it's the Thursday before the rehearsal, and then the rehearsal dinner, and then after the rehearsal dinner is the welcoming drinks, and then the next day you have the wedding, and basically that's for the girls. It's an all-day thing that starts like at 8 a.m. with like the hair and makeup, and they're like sequestered in a room like 12 Angry Men. Like they're in a room getting like the hair and makeup. I was Lord of the groomsmen, and one thing I can say about this wedding, one of the reasons why it was in my biased opinion, but given that I've been to a lot of frigging weddings, it was one of the best weddings I've ever been to. And I think the reason was that fully 50% of the guests were kids. It was like, there were like 200 people, and it's like, we had like 40, the mother of the groom had like 60. And the other 100 were just from the kids. And so when the band, who was very good, they were from Brooklyn, and when the band, started, like their first dance was like For Once in My Life, I think, by Stevie Wonder. But then they went right into something else. And this is before, any of the father dances with the bride, the mother dances with the groom, before any of that stuff. We're already balls to the wall on the dance floor. And I mean, like, that thing never got empty after that. It was just, there was one brief period of time where, I had to give a speech and somebody else gave a speech, and that was when but it was like, it was a friggin' party. And then afterwards, like, there was an after party, in the old days of a wedding, it's like they're in some cheesy limo with a bunch of cans on the back. And it's like, just married and off they go. No, here it's like, another costume change by Cher, and then they're off. Like they're off to another thing. And the best man was a decent DJ. You know, he had good equipment. You know, like he had all the pro stuff, and you know, it just kept going. But you know, the bottom line was anything I thought about it, you know, whether it was cost or just why are we doing this or everything else, it all sort of went away when it all just was so fucking fabulous. You know,
that's great.
It's great.
Very good.
Like, my son got married a couple like 4 or 5 months ago, and I can really relate. It's like there's so much more. They had like a wall of donuts, which I guess is a new thing. They had a telephone, like an old style payphone, where you could leave a message for them, like your whatever message, and then they had a phonograph record that has all of the messages on it, so that they can listen to the message.
An LP?
It's like, yeah. When I was, and that was just the beginning. I mean, it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and again, you know, we had decent. The weather was fun because it was like partly cloudy, sunny, a little bit of rain. You know, it was like the full range. But if you're wearing a monkey suit, as I was, you know, I don't want it to be sunny. I don't want it to be, you know, I don't mind a little clouds. I don't mind, you know, it being a little cool at night. And it was, you know.
I did a wedding once. I was shooting video for a wedding, and it was on the beach in Stamford at Cove Beach.
Oh, yeah, nice beach.
And it was somebody that I know, a guitar player who used to come to my jam and was getting married. It was a great event. It was literally 100 with 100% humidity.
Yeah.
In the hot sun, and we were literally dying, all of us.
Yeah,
everyone like
it went on and on and on and on. We're like, there was no tent. Everybody was just sitting in the sun, like,
right.
That's no tent is tough too. I mean, and that's a huge dice roll, you know, no tent, you know.
Yeah. Their party was somewhere else, but it was a Jewish wedding, and it was like, it went on and on and on and things, and now we're going to recite this, and now we're going to do that. It was way out on the sand. You had to walk way out from where you parked, and it was hot. But anyway, I'm glad you had good weather.
Well, you know, when you talk about the ceremony too, you know, we had like, you know, they had to prove their worth to some, you know, universal church or something up there. But it, you know, it was like sort of a, you know, yeah, right, you're a church, okay, sure. But the thing that was great about it, like the service itself. You know, they didn't mention the baby Jesus more than about once, and then you know it was like, unlike Catholic weddings, which are unbearable. Catholic weddings, Catholic funerals, you know, they can't stop selling. Like you go to a Catholic thing and they're selling the whole fucking time. You know, it's just like, and if you do this, then you're gonna do that. You know, and it's like you try to interject anything personal into a Catholic. I try to, you know, my mother's, you know, memorial service, and it was like. The guy's like, and I'm going to say something like right around here. And the guy goes, no, we don't do that. And I'm like, really? You don't do that? Like, what the fuck? You don't even know my mother. And like, you're telling me that I can't say something about her. And so I fucked them over at the end, you know, basically when we were leaving, you know, when they were beginning to leave, I said to everyone, please, everyone, could you just wait for a moment? And I brought a boom box and I hit it. And it was like Young at Heart by Frank Sinatra. Yeah. And there wasn't a dry eye in the house after I played that thing. And somewhere my mother was so happy. Like that made it.
Nice
like, stop selling. You know,
that's right.
Gone, all right. If anything you're saying is true, you've already got her. Okay, like you know. Stop talking to the rest of us. You know, it's like
I wound up like backstage in the church, backstage with my son and the minister, and he's talking with the minister, and the minister says, "And do you have the check?" And Charlie goes, "Oh," and looks at me. I'm like, okay, how much is it?
Oh, man.
You had to pay the church. I never thought about that. You have to pay a church in order to.
You know, we like to call it a tithe, you know.
Yeah.
It's a tithe.
Yeah, that's what you tithe. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It seemed like a check to me. You know.
Yeah, sure.
A tithe sounds like a reed or something. I didn't have a clue as to what was going on throughout my son's entire and daughter's entire wedding. I was like 5 steps behind the entire thing. And this guy kept appearing out of nowhere and would say, "Hi," and I go, "Hi, do you know where the wedding planner is?" And he go, "Oh, follow me." You know, and then a few minutes later, I'd be, "Oh my gosh, I need to know where the wedding cake is." And he'd pop up like on my shoulder again, "Hi," and I go, "Oh, do you know where the wedding cake is?" And he goes, "Yeah, follow me." You know, this guy, it was like this magical guy who appeared out of nowhere, like 6
you know,
times.
you get a sense of these. You get a sense of the worth a wedding planner. There is great value in a wedding planner because
Yeah.
they are the keepers of all of that stuff.
They're the
And-
production manager. They're making the show happen.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You
Well,
can't
they-
do
they-
it without it, you know. And you know, when my wife would start bending my ear about stuff like 6 months ago, you know, and I'd be like, Liz, I'll know this when I have to know it, but right now I don't have to know it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like at some point this is going to be really important, but it's not for about half a year from now, you know. So the rest of that stuff is just, you know, it was fabulous. What can I tell you? It was great.
Did you play music at the wedding at any point?
Yeah, well, I mean, this was in many ways the topper for me of the whole thing. On the rehearsal dinner, you know, I had always planned to do the song "Tenderness on the Block," which I've played a lot, and I've always referenced it as being something that reminded me of my daughter Delaney, and that's gone on for 7 years, 6 years, a long time. So I was always going to do that, but Delaney came to me in advance and said, I'd like to sing a song. And I'm like, really? And she's never done that, like never done that. She's brilliant with numbers and she does other stuff. And it isn't like I didn't think she could do that, but she was always kind of a musician in denial, like she took like a piano class and gave a recital. And then it was like the day after it was done, it was like done, and then never touched the piano again, and it's like, it's just funny to me. She's driven in a different way, but she's got some of the genes and she grew up in an environment where music was always there. I mean, she was always doing. So she wanted to sing this song by an artist named Maren Morris. Okay, and I didn't really know who Maren Morris was, but it was I think the name of the song was I Can't Love You Anymore or something. And the lyrics are very self-aware for her. Like they're very like, you love me even when I'm a bitch, like it's stuff like this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so we had a chance to run through it, like 3 times, and she did not, she sang it like in practice, she sang it fine, and she didn't, I was doing harmony and playing guitar. That's how we were doing it. And, she didn't move up to my voice as many inexperienced singers will do. Like, they're like, they're singing and then they hear you singing and they're like, well, that sounds good. Let's go over there, and it's like, and then nobody's singing the melody, and so.
Right, yeah, everybody's singing the harmony, yeah.
And on the gig, I mean, I play my song, I get a little standing O. None of that was surprising to me. I just, it was like a packed house and that.
Right.
But I had
And
said
you're
to
the
her
star,
too, I
right,
said,
Father?
you will never, ever in your life experience what you're about to experience. This is as close to being a Beatle as you will ever be, because you're going to play and everybody loves you and everybody is rooting for you and everybody, whatever you do, they're going to love it. It doesn't matter. And then she kills it. She like freaking kills it and was so much better in that environment than she was in rehearsal, which I get because rehearsals can be, you're quiet, you're in a dead room.
Yeah,
so,
right. Why bother?
She freaking kills it. And then how do I know that I actually have like a real diva on my hands? Afterwards, she says to me, Dad, you played that a little fast. And that's when you know, okay, a star is born,
Right?
Like,
Well,
really, that's your takeaway?
About 6 months before my son's wedding, I asked him and his bride to be, guys, tell me in advance, what would you like for the rehearsal dinner? Tell me what you would like it to be like. And I'll point towards that direction. And Charlie says, first of all, no singing.
Go.
And my whole family sings. And he was like, we both agreed we don't want the family to sing anything.
Wow.
So
Ouch.
there was like, okay.
Okay. All right. Speaking of singing, Bill Norman, come on.
Yeah, I was gonna sing the thing I sang at the rehearsal there, but I played it so many times it really doesn't matter. So
We'll take
do
it.
What?
something else.
What?
We'll take
Bill,
whatever you're given.
wait a minute. We can't even get 30 seconds of it?
Come on, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I connect with this song. And the week before the wedding, I played it out and actually broke down in the middle of it, which was funny as shit. Which I'd never
Understand.
Oh,
never
maybe
done.
that'll happen now. Maybe
Don't bet on it.
PTSD version.
Say, Mama, where your pretty little girl tonight? She's trying to run before she can walk, that's right. She's growing up She's got a young man waiting. Well, she's growing up. She's got a young man waiting. Well, she was wide-eyed. She'll be street-wide to the lies and the jive talk, and she'll find true love and tenderness on. See, Daddy, don't you ask her when she's coming home, and when she's back, don't ask where she's been. Oh no, she's going out. She's got a young man waiting. Whoa, she's going out. Keep that one man waiting. Well, she'll be okay. Let her have her way. It's a long way and a long walk, and she'll find true love and tenderness on the block. She's gonna find true love. She's gonna find true love. She's gonna find true love. Oh, and tenderness on the block. I know how much it hurts to see her go. She's got a mind of her own, you know. She's all grown up. She's got a young man waiting. Well, she's all grown up. She's got that young man waiting. Well, she was wide-eyed. Now she's street-wide to the lies and the jive talk, and she'll find true love and tenderness on the block. She's gonna find true love. She's gonna find true love. She's gonna find true love and tenderness on the block. Everybody's trying to talk into her. She can't hear a word we're saying. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
That's right.
It's just a perfect song. I mean, it's just a perfect song.
Beautiful.
And oddly written by Warren Zevon and Jackson Brown, which is fun.
Yes.
Wow. Cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
Hey, Frank.
And there's
Well,
Frank.
Frank's muted.
Ladies and
He's
gentlemen.
muted.
He is muted.
I think he muted himself.
It's a silent Frank.
Okay. No,
Frank.
there you
There
go.
He's
on,
unmuting and I'm muting, and he's unmuting and I'm muting.
Some people view Silent Frank as the best Frank. It's just one of those things.
Brother Frank.
Yes, sir.
Two things right
Yes.
off the bat. Happy anniversary to you guys.
Ooh,
Thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you very
and
much.
deep knowledge.
and yes, and I'm sorry about your right hand. Your
Oh, what
finger.
happened?
He'll tell you about it.
Well, we'll start with the good news first. I just
Okay.
recently celebrated my my 20th wedding anniversary this yesterday, in fact.
Mazel tov.
That's a big
Awesome.
one.
So yeah, so
We got
yeah.
to buy you like a silver cake or a ring or something. I don't know.
I'll just be happy with her not changing the locks, and we'll just
Yeah.
call it that.
Yeah, that'd be
So-
success. A successful marriage. The secret to a successful marriage. Yeah.
Yes, one of the many. And then the other slight little thing was I was doing a little food prep today, and just the knife in my pinky had a little argument. So, yeah, So, and it's not like I don't have a gig tomorrow. Or
Let me
anything.
see, where is it?
Oh, it's just the pinky finger. So of all the guitar player digits to damage,
Right.
this is the optimal one right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that's
'cause
the
I'm
best
just,
one
you
to
know,
hit. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
better to be lucky than good. So
Unless you're playing Message in a Bottle, and then
Right.
that's a bummer.
yeah, there's that. So we'll figure it out. So the gig will be partially sponsored by Crazy Glue.
Crazy glue. That's the way.
Yep. Carpenter's Band-Aid, a little Crazy Glue for the win. So
Like to me, my scariest dreams, my greatest fears, they're all about things happening to my hands.
Absolutely.
And, I don't know. I mean, you could say like, oh, obviously you play guitar, whatever, but I don't know what it is, but there's just something that puts like a chill down my back. That kind
oh,
of,
absolutely. I used to work at a picture frame factory and just be unguarded belts and pulleys and 3-phase power, and every third guy in the house when he was holding his coffee cup, they all held him and they held him like that, or just all of that stuff. And I'm like 20 years old and I'm showing up from playing out the night before, and I'm not really at my A game. And I'm like, you really need to be careful here because badly.
It's like playing charades at the Gucci brothers' house.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Right.
shadows.
Just bring a trauma dressing with you. Yeah, when you go.
Yeah. Carpenter's Band-Aid, electrical tape, and
Right.
electrical tape.
Yeah, I was in the top of the lighthouse. I built a lighthouse in my life, and I was at the top of the lighthouse. I was like 6 stories up inside, and I stepped on a shingle that was on a wet floor, but the stairs weren't in yet. So there were just holes in the floor down like 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, right? And there was a ladder sticking up, right? And I skated towards the hole, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going down the hole, right? And I went down the hole, and on the way down, I reached out and I grabbed the ladder as hard as I could. My body went blam against the ladder. But there was a so like on the ladder, so that there was like an anti-skid thing on the metal, which was like sharp. And I ripped my hand open from here to here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And there's blood everywhere, whatever. And I was coming home to Connecticut the next day, and I had a gig the next day. And I made this splint, and I had crazy. I needed to go to the hospital. This thing was like a mess, and I fixed it with crazy glue and like a splint and whatever. And I played the gig like I could play with these fingers, but leave this one out of it. And I was with the Blues Brothers band that I play with, and halfway through the gig, I looked down at the keyboard, and it's like keyboard's all red. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, pick one that you can do without me. I went to the bathroom and fixed it again.
Welcome to the Blues Brothers and Helter Skelter all together.
God.
Yeah,
It was bad.
Yeah, those are always fun. I actually did myself in back when I was in my 20s. I was working at a deli, and it was a little bit too much of a hurry cleaning the meat slicer.
Those things. Yeah.
And just and did did the worst finger that you could do for a guitar player.
Right on the right here. Right
at the tip. Yeah, so just perfect. So not a slide guitar that night.
Can't take it. Yeah, that's the way.
Pretty much.
Unbelievable. Wow. Injuries. All right, Bill Nolan, do another song about injuries.
Yes.
About injuries.
Pain.
Pain and suffering. That's right.
Kind of relative. You can set up me, the young apprentice. Get it, fingers caught between the syllab and charybdis. Hypnotized by you if I should linger, staring at that splint around your finger. I have only come here seeking knowledge, things they would not teach me of in college. I can see the destiny you sold, wrapped into a shining band of gold. wrapped around your finger. Mephistopheles is not your name. I know what you're up to just the same. I will listen hard to your tuition. When you see it, it will come to fruition. I'll be wrapped around your finger. I'll be wrapped around your finger. Devil in the deep blue sea beside me, vanish in the air, you'll never find me. I will turn your face to alabaster. When you find your servant is your master, you'll be wrapped around my finger. You'll be wrapped around my finger. And there it is.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Very
Yes.
nice.
Bill, your timing, beautiful, my brother. I was drumming along to it.
Very
It's
nice.
unique. It's
And
Bulgarian.
you're, yeah, baby, you were
Excellent.
right there holding it. That's right.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very cool. Did you say it's Bulgarian?
No, I was kidding.
I thought maybe.
Bulgarian V.
Oh, Bulgarian.
I just, it's what I love about, like, there's a lot of stuff where there was a big record, big world music record. There was a Bulgarian choir and playing along, and it's just so interesting to hear what other cultures hear as harmony, and for them it's as harmonic as a barbershop quartet, and for us it's got like a dissonance to it, and it's just like, I just find that fascinating. And there's a great record I have that has a Zairian guy with a Bulgarian choir, and it is a guy named Professor, like Roy Lima is the Zairian guy, and if anybody wants, I'll send them an MP3 of some of the stuff they do. But it's just a crazy harmonic thing, and then with like a little African thing going on with it. It's like,
Yeah. I took this course in college. It was like the history of world music, something like that. You heard like music from every culture you could possibly imagine, and the most popular thing was to smoke a joint and then go into class.
Oh, yeah.
Because this stuff didn't sound like anything you ever heard before. It was
but
very
I
cool.
love
I don't
that
remember
that
any of it.
it makes complete music theoretical sense to people, whereas to us it would be
Right.
considered, like I said, like dissonant. But to them, it's
Yeah.
like It's like, all right, it's Crosby, Stills, and Babushka, you know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And to some of these cultures, this stuff has been around for thousands of years. Buddhist
Right.
monk chants, and I mean, really strange not strange, unusual instruments that are strange to you or me. It was wild. It was a really cool class. It ranked up there.
so, our host hasn't really, been talking about. Have you been playing at all, Ed? Have you been playing out? Or?
A little bit. I got a few gigs here and there. I got a couple next week. I'm doing the pig roast. Come to the pig roast. $30, all you can eat. They do a whole pig.
Where?
At Norwalk Boat Club, and it's Saturday. It's Saturday, next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So in like 10 days. And at Norwalk Boat Club with Blues Patrol playing music on the deck, and
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
It's a good time. It's a good time. We've done it like every year for the last 5 years. And then the night before that, I am closing another bar. I think I've talked about this.
No.
McDuff's.
Greenwich?
McDuff's in Greenwich is like their last night in Hot Rubber Monkey Band.
Mm.
I played with Hot Rubber Monkey there, and we're looking for a new home. So
That's the place down the bottom of the avenue across from where the movie theater used to be.
exactly, it's they lost their lease, so they're closing, and there'll be some other place that pops up.
Yeah, with someone new name or something. I'm playing the most dangerous gig you can possibly play, which is a farmer's market. Because these people are they're like, I want the best radishes I can get. So they all get, they come racing in, and they're like knocking each other over, and it's kind of dangerous. I mean, it really is. But you clean at a couple of $100 later, you don't mind so much. Right. But I've almost gotten hit by cars while setting stuff up, and because they're all just really competitive. It's pretty strange.
That's fun. Where is that?
That's in here in Newton at local park.
Very cool.
Really?
And every week they have it. It's great. I mean, the music. It's my kind of music fits in really well outside. For some reason, it just people really like having this like ambient music.
I like I used to play a farmer's market in McLeavy Park in Bridgeport. Mm-hmm. And Bridgeport is called the Park City, and it's got all these little pocket parks like all over I'm like, Bridgeport, if somehow they could just get it together. The architecture is gorgeous. The layout of the place is gorgeous.
It is.
On the water, it's like
they have tried to get Bridgeport together so many times, and they just can't do it.
Well, they've made some strides, but there's.
But it's like every building there has like big concrete stanchions in front of it, like you're in Beirut or something. Like you're expecting someone to drive through in a car and blow the building up or something. But I play this thing, and it's like it's so fun when you play at a farmer's market because they're. I was getting paid, so it didn't matter if I was getting tipped or not or whatever. And in Bridgeport, you can't really make that assumption you're going to get like monster tips. But, you end up like at the end of the day, you have like, like you said, like a couple of heads of lettuce and like a bunch of apples and, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of gig that could sustain itself and you could actually live off that. You can make a living as a musician, It's like,
you don't put out a hat, you put out a trough. You bring like a metal trough in front of
you put a plate out.
It's heads of broccoli and corn,
I'm actually with an ear of corn and something else. Thank you.
Well, the scary part is when they drop off the senior center for people because then there's a whole busload of people on walkers and so on, and all this traffic zooming around with people who are all competing with one another for food, and it's like an accident waiting to happen.
Well,
yes, some of those can definitely get a little cutthroat. Absolutely.
They're like, how much is a dozen corn? It was 4 cents when I was a kid.
Exactly.
$7 now.
They get there like an hour ahead of time and line up, and it's like it's not open yet. You have to stand in front of a farm stand, in order to get the best onions.
I went to a show last night at the Wall Street Theater.
Oh, I hate you. I wanted to go to that so badly.
Well, I can only tell you the band, the featured act is called Leonid and Friends, and you can look up their stuff on YouTube. It's like
so
Leonid
good.
And Friends. They are a Russian band of people who have made these insane videos that, you look at, they're kind of like Zoom videos. It's like, what they played last night, they had a 12-piece, and they started as a Chicago cover band,
right.
And it's like, I saw Chicago like back in the day, like once, and I sort of take them with a grain of salt because some of the stuff I love and some of the stuff I don't love. I don't love like the homogenized sound of the horns, but I understand the parts are cool and the songs are cool and all that, but they're not, they weren't my favorite thing. But filtered through these people, it was unbelievable. I mean, they were so good, but the crowd was like, oh my God. It was like you go to an WFUV concert and, for one thing, if you're sort of the back of the house, the glare from the male pattern baldness, like you basically can't see the stage, like what the hell?
Sparklers.
This thing was like, you can't just say, the assisted living bus showed up and everybody got off. It was like a crew of people that my wife said something that made me like laugh my ass off. She goes, in this crowd, we're like supermodels. It was like, wow. But this band was incredible. They're playing in Massachusetts, actually. Like their gigs, they started in Key West. Then they played like, Fort Lauderdale and something else. Then they played like a bunch of, I think like assisted living homes. Then they played, like they're moving up the coast.
Yeah.
And they're playing like in Lynn and, Northampton and then they're playing twice in New York, like this weekend or something.
I
They're
swear to God,
so
Bill,
good.
you're like retelling the plot of a movie called The Leningrad Cowboys Do America.
Wow.
Look it up at some point, okay? It's
I will.
a Russian band.
Did you just write this movie, or is this actually a movie?
No, it's this weird avant-garde thing from about 1985. It's bizarre, but just this obscure Russian band going from town to town playing stuff. It's a really, I don't know why that just brought it to my head, but
Or it's a version of the movie, The Commitments, but it's called The Commitments or something.
They are so good. Like, check them out. Leonid and friends. They did all kinds of other stuff, or did they stick to Chicago?
No. They do. I'm Your Vehicle, Baby. They do
Earth, Wind, and Fire, and they do Shaka Khan.
They're Earth, Wind, and Fire. They do Chaka. They do Earth, Wind, and Fire. They end with September, which to me, particularly when you've just come from a wedding, you realize it's the greatest song ever freaking made.
Everyone will dance to that.
And they have this female singer who I think my wife last night, I think she gave me the okay. If she gave me the come hither thing, it would be okay. I once gave her that for George Clooney. I did in a few other, I said, I wouldn't hold it against you. Go for it.
Funny. Yeah. She's a hot chick that, and really good. Like, they're such professionals,
And like the sax player is a real, at one point my wife goes like, he's like a real clown. And then the MC says, we found him in a circus. And it's like, I get it. But it's like a show, it's a show, but a loose show. The musicianship is off the fucking charts. I mean, the drummer is and a lot of the drumming in Chicago is pretty good, Dan, boom, boom,
there's some tight stuff.
It's just, and the one guy kills like Peter Cetera, the other guy kills something else. They do Stevie Wonder, they do whatever, and they're just these guys from like Russia. David, you will like Leonid and Friends. Just go on YouTube, and anything that comes up is going to be awesome.
Yeah, really. I really wanted to go to that show, and you mentioned it before, and I forgot. Like, I didn't put it in my calendar, but I checked them all out online, and that's a treat too, just to see them do it online.
I mean, and it makes it makes the songs that I might have been lukewarm on. It makes me love them. The whole. It was very fun.
Anything that is done really well, I don't care what it is. It's pretty amazing to see somebody do something exceptional. And they're all amazing. So, all right, Bill Noman, do something exceptional. One more for you.
Exceptional.
I'm going to do this Russian song.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this song that I learned last night. Do you remember?
Oh, I got to dance.
And for my next number.
Yeah. James, we were always friends from our childhood days when we made our plans and we had to go our separate ways. I went on the road, You pursued an education, James. Do you like your life? Can you find release? Will you ever change? Will you ever write your masterpiece? Are you still in school, living up to expectations, James? Oh, you won't light upon. Everybody knows how hard you tried. Hey, just look at the job you've done, carrying the weight of family pride. James, you've been well behaved. You've been working hard. Will you always stay someone else's dream of who you are? Do what's good for you, or you're no good for anybody, Jay. I went on the road and you pursued an education, James. Oh, well, how you gonna know for sure? Everything was so well organized. Hey, everything is so secure, and everybody else is satisfied. James, do you like your life? Will you find release? Will you ever change? Will you ever write your masterpiece? Do what's good for you, or you're no good for anybody, Jay. Thank you.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. Bill, I dialed up that group, and the first thing that popped up was 25 or 6-4. I said, okay.
Oh yeah.
So I'll investigate.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just, it's funny. I think I've said before that I used to do 25 or 6-4 when I was in college at this house we lived in, and we did it with kazoos. And
Yeah.
in my way of thinking, it wasn't that much worse than like, it isn't like I don't like the song or anything, but you put a bunch of kazoos together, like
Exactly.
Like all those punchies.
Right.
Cashmere.
It sounds pretty fucking close to the original.
That's really cool. I'm gonna do that. I got a kazoo that has a pickup, right? And I
love it.
I feed the pickup into my ARP 2600, so I can so that I can rock it out and like Pete Townsend it, synthesizer.
Well, and it's also, like the drummer's amazing, the bass player's amazing, the guitarist he can do that Terry Kath thing, man. He can do that, that a guy that, reputedly Hendrix said was like his favorite guitarist. He was never my favorite guitarist, but he was like, there's no question he was great,
Absolutely.
But their singing was just insanely good.
Those Russians don't screw around. Like they they don't generalize. Like we're like, oh, I'm good at barbecuing and cooking and my job and traveling. And they're like, no, I decide at a young age I'm going to be a musician and I'm going to do it. They put in the 10,000 hours before they go do a gig at the local place, you know?
Right.
And they're from Siberia, you know.
Yeah.
And the guy who's their MC, who was very funny, you know, he's got a good thing about it. He goes, you know, as a child in Siberia, the thing that I really dreamed of my whole life was to be like, you know, in a Chicago cover band. You know, I mean, it was just like.
Well, you know, that being said, I played in a band for a number of years with a drummer who was from Novosibirsk, from Siberia. And what a crazy, funky, great trained drummer he was, like really different, like very, very different. And he would go back, you know, to visit his family and whatnot. And he would go to a jam and he would send me the jam. And I mean, this is just the local people and it's 30 below zero outside and they're like, you know, jamming and they're all like that Leonid and Friends. They're all that good.
Well, I mean, you know, they are in their niche genre kind of thing. You know, they are comparable. I will not say they are better than, but they're comparable to the Fab Four, who to me are like when they take cover shit to another level. You know,
This is
and these guys they're like that. You know, they're just it's perfect, but it's better than perfect because they're doing it live, and it's like, and they have energy and they're funny, and you know, it's
So
like
they're like the ultimate wedding band for your Siberian wedding. Is that the idea?
That's it.
You know, I was just thinking, like, is this like a wedding? You know, is this a wedding band, or would you get tired of? You know, but you know, it's like we need a slow one. Okay, there's 800 Peter Cetera things that you know, AOR records that you know,
Right.
that you don't know that. But I mean, you know, to be able
That
to
you don't want to know. Yeah,
you know, if you could sing like Peter Cetera, I'm sorry, I don't care what the material is. That's you know,
true. Actually,
he's got an
yeah.
instrument. You know,
That definitely checks a box or three. And just to Ed's point, it's like, you know, you find geographic locations like that. Like another example of that would be like Newfoundland, you know, because they don't get out much. They can't get away.
Right.
Too foggy. The ferry doesn't run all the time.
Lots of
Other
rehearsal
than
time.
to just have what they call kitchen parties, where they would just go to somebody's house, they bring food, and they just play music, and that's it. And that's the culture. And there's just a general level of musicianship that is above and beyond most cultures in this day and age. You know, I mean, it's you know, I mean, you guys, obviously, the circle of friends that you had musicians that you played with a lot. So there's cadres and there's cores and bits in there. But most people don't do that anymore because they've got YouTube. They just
Right.
You got to figure if you're living in the hinterlands like that you know, the musicians really gravitate towards each other. You know, you just
absolutely.
You have to figure they hang and you know, you're in Siberia. You're really not in that much of a hurry to break off the practice. You know, like you know, why don't we try it a couple more times before we go outside and try to defrost our car?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we have plenty of vodka. You know,
all good.
We have vodka. We have firewood. What else do you need? Maybe
Just
some
don't
sardine.
leave any man outside drunk because he might not come back in.
There it is.
It's pretty cold out there.
Well, that was the opening scene from the Leningrad Cowboys, actually, where the bass player froze to death because he was practicing on the field.
Jeez.
They spend the whole movie with him like on the roof of the car with just like the bass hits, the bass hits not just sticking up through the roof. And they've got these long pointy boots. And then the end of the movie, of course, he gets some shot of crazy alcohol and it wakes him up. So
Of course.
A miracle.
Happy ending. You ruined it. You spoiled
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
yeah, well, it's what I do. I wreck things. Yeah, really, were you guys going to watch that movie? Honestly, were you?
Well, I was going to go to the
wanted to
Siberian
remember.
the Siberian Film Festival, and you just ruined it for me. I don't
Well,
know.
you
where
know,
it goes.
there's plenty of other things. I mean, that's not the whole plot of the movie. I assure you.
That's great.
You'll manage.
You know who toured? I wish he was on right now. Joe Mayo. I want to say he toured in Russia, like played music with an American group. And it was telling me stories about that. Pretty wild stuff. But
Well, they thought they were booking Joe Mao, and it ended up being
Joe Mao. That's funny. That is funny. Wow. Well, that was great, Bill.
oh, thanks. And please
Always.
check out Leonid and Friends on
Yes.
YouTube because
Yeah,
it's
I'll look it up.
fucking, and just know that they're that good live. You know, it's just, except it's better because you get to see Ksenia in person.
Ksenia, yeah.
Noted.
I had a whole
The
bunch of
Norman
friends.
growl.
Whole bunch of friend of mine went. Sheila Fabrizio went, and I saw their
Sherry
post.
went. I think Sherry might have gone because I saw something she posted where she said pre-Leonid dinner. They were, so they must have. I was up in the one thing. If you ever go to the Wall Street Theater, do not get seats in the balcony, the back balcony thing. The sight line is shit. If you go to the thing, the section just in front of it, it's amazing. Where we were, it's just pitched badly, But luckily, the people that were there, they were all leaving by about the fourth song, because they either had to take their meds, or they had to get home in time for Jeopardy, or I don't know what the fuck it was.
Good stuff.
Lives late special.
All right, Will Baird, you're on. What do you got?
All right, I got "Dreaming of Sunday," which is a song about dreaming of the beach. So, Bill, this is kind of for you.
All right.
This is beach season. This is one I wrote long ago. Thank you. Thank you.
Good, Will.
Very nice.
Thank you. I actually wrote that during a wedding. I wrote that. I always write all my happiest songs at the most miserable moments. I had to stay home from the wedding in the hotel after watching the ceremony. So I see the ceremony and then I don't get to stay for the party. So I somehow I came out with that as, one of my
Hey,
happiest
Joni
songs.
Mitchell wrote Woodstock like that.
So,
Exactly.
yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You looked very,
Very
happy when you were playing it. You had a nice look on your face. You were like,
Smile, old man,
Practicing from
smile.
farmer's market.
Exactly.
Please don't run me over.
Right.
Don't run me over. Don't
Right?
throw the lettuce. Don't throw the lettuce. No, please.
What else you got, Will? Come on, do a
I got
double
one more
header.
for you. Okay, this one I did not write. This is a classic old spiritual. I don't know what the politically appropriate word is for that now.
It's cultural appropriation. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Play your rhythm.
Very nice.
To say I wrote that, but for some reason that's like the most popular video on my YouTube page. Sorry, maybe people couldn't hear me, but there's like thousands of hits on that one song, and all of my other songs have like 50. You know, and then there's all these comments that I don't know where people are coming from, but they're all like, "God bless you, Will Baird." You know? I'm like, I know it's a spiritual and everything, but really,
You found some chunk of the algorithm that plays out
exactly.
to the elsewhere. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Nick Carter.
Yeah,
Hey guys.
hey there.
lost
Nick.
people.
How are you? Hey Will,
Hey,
that's
Nick.
a great song, Will. Nice to see
Thanks.
everybody.
Thanks very much. Good to see you. We haven't seen you in a while. At
It's
least I
been a
haven't
bit.
seen you here in a while.
It's been a bit. Good to be back. Miss
Yeah.
everybody. Dave, Frank, Bill, and
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Hello,
See you
Nick.
guys.
Yes. Good to
Good
be
to see you, Nick.
Good
Glad
to
you
be
made
here.
it.
Thank you.
So
Absolutely.
Very cool.
have you got all your fingers intact? By the way,
Yeah, I got.
You
I
got them all.
10 of
That's
them.
you go.
awesome. That's
And
great.
1.5 arms.
And this is
Oh boy.
yeah.
Yeah, between the
that's-
six of us, we have 59 working fingers. You know?
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
there you go.
I
And the
mean,
third nipple.
as a former EMT, I can tell you that construction sites are the most dangerous place in America. And personally, I will never use a rotary saw again.
Yeah, I was using a circular saw today, and I was like, how do I hold the little board in my hand and also reach around and pull the safety guard away with my teeth while I'm,
yeah, it's like no,
Yep.
don't use it that way.
Never
Yeah.
ends badly at all.
Don't do that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was happening today. So
What the
Good
hell were you
stuff.
doing, Ed? What were you sawing?
I am I'm helping my neighbor build a deck, and so I'm doing cutting boards and trim boards and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So,
Wow.
but
Be
and I've
very
done that
careful
kind of
with
stuff. But
decks and circular saws.
I think about
Yeah.
circular
Cut
saws
your
all the
deck the
time.
wrong way.
Yeah, they
careful.
really. I can't use them.
Yeah,
just scare
no,
the crap
not
out of
good.
me.
You don't want to go.
Yeah.
Oops, there goes my. Although
Yeah,
I
just the
still-
sound. And, yeah,
I can
You wanna
still
cut your
patch
deck
my-
off.
I can still, exactly. I can still patch my little synthesizer with like
There you
one
go.
hand, but you know.
No, when I was an EMT in Darien, which I also feel like I'm talking like I was an old war veteran. Back when I was in Dunning, we used to, but when usually the police would get there before you. So if you were driving the fly car alone, you'd feel like, well, at least somebody's going to be there before me. I won't be alone. And I get there and I'm totally alone.
Wow.
And this like horrible accident has happened with a rotary saw, and I'm like,
Oh.
I don't, I'm not hearing any sirens in the distance or anything, and I'm alone here.
Oh boy.
Yikes.
And anyway, so yeah, construction is a dangerous job.
Half this stuff, like you got to wonder that any kind of saw or any kind of planer or whatever. Oops, I put it on my knee. Oops. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, nail guns are bad news. Yeah,
Nail
for
gun.
some reason.
The story was right. So
Yeah.
my mother, when she was living, my mother passed away now, but my mother was in the house when I was building the lighthouse. I was building an addition onto my house, and I was building a lighthouse, 6 stories tall. Right. So I'm up in the lighthouse working, and I had a big, what's called a pass load nail gun, which is orange, and it's like this big.
They run on liquid propane. They run
It
on
runs
lighter
on
fluid.
like butane, and it's got a battery. It's got like a spark plug. It fills the little cavity with it's
Wow.
high tech, and it's
Look-
shooting.
Yeah.
It's like a gun, basically a gun.
It's not like a gun.
Yeah.
It's a gun, and it shoots 3.5-inch glue coated framing nails. Like
Yikes.
the friction heats the glue up, and you can't get that nail out of there. You just might as
Yeah.
well just. And so I'm shooting it. I shot 11,000 nails to do that job. 11,000.
Oh my God.
With this pass on, you bang, 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 right?
Yeah.
And it, amazing, like fun to use and whatever. And my mother comes up and she's like, "Stop what you're doing right now and come downstairs." I go, "What?" She goes, "There's a story on CNN, and the guy had that orange nail gun that you have." And I go, "Oh,
Yeah.
really?"
Oh.
She goes, "You stop right now and come down. I don't want you using that thing." I'm like, "I'm going to
Yeah.
I'm going to hammer it 11,000 nails."
Yeah.
So I go downstairs, and it was in a circulation on CNN at the time, in the loop. And we watched the story, and it was this guy, and he had a toothache, and so he goes to the dentist with the toothache, right? He makes an appointment for 2 days later, whatever. He's like, "I don't know, I got his toothache, right?"
You have my attention.
All right, and so he got the toothache, and oh my God, no, you have no idea. And so he was doing some framing 3 days ago. He goes to the dentist, and the nail shot into the board, hit a knot, turned around, and shot into the roof of his mouth.
And the guy didn't know.
It was
Yeah.
going through his sinuses into his brain, through his
Oh,
tooth.
man.
And the guy's like, "I'm not pulling that thing out."
Yeah. Oh, God,
surgery.
yeah.
It was all the way up
Yeah.
through into his brain. It was,
Oh,
my God.
Holy
So I had him with hammers now. My mother was right for a change.
Yeah.
Wow.
Be careful.
I used to do windows and doors, and we didn't use the Paz load ones. We had the pneumatic jobs, but basically same concept framing. They just ran off of compressed air instead of that.
Right.
And and one of the guys would just take great delight in basically putting a framing nail through the heel of your boot into whatever you were standing on. just casually
Just
doing
for
it
the
because
hell of
you're
it,
like
yeah.
holding the
It's like,
window
God
up or whatever,
damn
and he
it.
would go through the back, and you'd go to walk, and you'd leave your boot behind.
Oh man.
That is
is
cold. That is cold. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun crew. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. Good.
Oh, yeah.
What a team. A teamwork. It's a team effort. Yeah.
Yeah. Team effort is
Well,
right.
I was the smallest and lightest guy on the crew, so I was the one underneath. He'd always say, "Get the orange rope," which equaled
Yeah.
the extension cord, and that's what they would tie around these 500-600
Wow.
pound window units as they're pulling it up the
Oh,
extension
God.
ladder. And I'm underneath it, trying to keep the thing straight. just
Ouch.
kind of
God.
judging like what the softest thing I can land on. If I see that knot start to
Right.
slip, or they say,
Ouch.
"Get out of the way."
Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh, good times.
Oh,
OSHA
man.
would really have a ball with that.
OSHA. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about OSHA. Like I'm hanging off a ladder with one arm and I'm doing a circular
Right.
saw on a
Yeah.
beam.
It's like,
But
where's
I'm thinking
OSHA? when I need it?
OSHA. I've never had them pay me a visit.
Yeah.
Yep, thankfully.
Good stuff. All right, Frank, play a song. What do you got?
Okay. Well, I would probably be remiss since it's the anniversary to not play this one. I apologize if I played this one before. I don't recall if I have or not.
I recognize it already.
Yep. Yeah,
God
well,
bless you,
that's-
Frank.
Yep. So this is one by a guy named Jorma Kalkinen, who you may have heard of. Time has come for us to pause and think of living as it was. Into the future we must cross, must cross. I'd like to go with you. I'd like to go with you. You say I'm harder than a wall, the marble shaft about to fall. I love you dearer than them all, them all. So let me stay with you. So let me stay with you. And as we came into the day, the skies of blue have turned to gray. I might have not been clear to say I never looked away. And know I'm feeling you inside. My life is rolling with the tide. I'd like to see it be an open ride, rolling along with you, rolling along with you. The time we borrowed from ourselves can't stay within a vault to dwell, and living turns into a lender's warehouse. So let me stay with you. And when we came out into view, and then I found myself with you, when breathing felt like something new, rolling along with you, rolling along with you. Thank you.
Do it, Frank.
Frank,
Yeah.
you always
That's right.
you pick really good songs.
Yeah.
You just
Thank
you always pick
Frank.
quality songs.
Thank
know?
you. Thank you.
And Frank,
Yes.
Frank, with your boo boo, with your little boo boo.
Yeah, that's
That's
no,
right.
no, yeah.
Despite
Well,
the
the
boo-boo.
boo boo is just fine because the boo boo basically it's just sitting in stasis right there. It doesn't do
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Really, these two just do all the heavy lifting on that song. Occasionally this guy, but that's about it.
Okay.
You
So
boo.
yeah, so that was actually a song that I played on the day that I got married for my wife. But
There
Oh,
you
nice.
go.
20
Very
years
nice.
ago.
Beautiful. Nicely done.
Yeah, I love that song. It's a great tune.
Yep.
So good times.
Yeah, absolutely. How is the life of the hardest working musician in music right now? Like, what do you got a lot of stuff coming up?
Not as much as I'd like, but I'm actually moderately busy. I'm going to be playing tomorrow over at a little place over in North Haven called Small Batch Cellars. It's a winery where you can like bring your own food and just chill out. So and it's one of those kind of industrial chic kind of places where you're in the bottling facility, but they've got a full stage with a full drum set
Wow.
and a PA and about a $4,000 Roland keyboard that's just sitting there just in case you
Love
need
it.
to use it. So
Not for long.
yeah, well, there you go. So I'm pretty sure they
Oh.
could. The alarm system's pretty good, and there's a big dog. So
Oh.
let me know how that works out for you, sport.
I'll bring a steak for the dog. That's
There you
how-
go.
That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
plan. I'm
Yeah,
working on it.
but nice and great people, really, really nice people that own the joint. So I'll be playing there tomorrow from like 5-ish until they throw me out. And then actually next week I'll be doing my first farmers market, doing a Thursday afternoon thing over at a farmers market over in Guilford at the fairgrounds.
Oh, that's a lovely place.
Oh, yeah.
And then I believe after that I've got some other stuff coming up later on in the month. I'm kicking off a jam night on Wednesdays at this place called James Madison House. So that's going to be a fun time.
Nice.
So yeah. So other than that, yeah, nothing. Just twiddling my thumbs.
Sounds
So,
good. Play
yeah,
one more. What else you got for us?
Sure. Let's see. I've been thinking of this Greg Brown song, and it's this beautiful song, but just I don't know if I should do it like right after that one because it's
Yes.
literally 180 degrees
Yes.
from what we just did. So I probably shouldn't do that one. Let's see.
Do it.
Okay, what could go wrong? What could
The voice of God.
and
Do
and
it.
here's a cool little gig that I have to plug. My daughter actually in July is going to be playing at the Hartford Jazz Festival as part of the high school jazz ensemble.
Fun.
They got
All
something
right.
to the Hartford Jazz on the Jazz Festival, so I'm really really excited and proud for that. So, anyway, enough humble brag dad moments here. This is a song by a guy named Greg Brown. I just kind of figured this one out. I first heard it from a band called Cry 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 back in the 90s. And beautiful song. And this is one of those guys where probably, Ed, you would prefer somebody else to sing. He's one of those kind of guys. He's got one of these, and does what he does he does him very well. This is not going to sound like that. Let's see how it goes. I've actually never really played this one all the way through before, so we'll find out what happens. Oh Lord, I made you a place in my heart among the rags, the bones and the dirt. There's piles of lies and the love gone from her eyes, and old moving boxes full of hurt. Pull up a chair by the trouble and care. I got whiskey, welcome to some. Oh Lord, I made you a place in my heart, but I don't reckon you're gonna come. Tried to fix up the place, but I know it's a disgrace. You get used to it after a while. With the flood and the drought, old pals hanging out with their IOUs and their smiles. Their naked women keep coming in, and they dance like you will not believe. Oh Lord, I made you a place in my heart, take a good look, and then leave. Oh Lord, why does the fall get colder each year? Lord, why can't I learn to love? Lord, you made me, it's easy to see. We all make mistakes up above. But if I open the door, you know that I'm poor, and my secrets are all that I own. Oh Lord, I made you a place in my heart. I hope you leave it alone. In other news,
Nice job.
quality,
I like that.
All right.
quality.
I tell you, that was a great album. I wore the shit out of it. Like the album Cold Missouri Water. I mean the
oh
song
yeah,
Cold
there's
Missouri
so many
Waters.
great songs on that album. I actually, and this is like a couple of degrees of separation. Round about the time that album came out, I was actually playing in a band with Maria Nazzaro, who Ed knows quite well, and we were doing like an acoustic duet thing as well.
What do
And
you
I
mean
brought
quite
that
well?
song.
Don't give anybody ideas. Like, I don't know her that well. You know?
Well, you went to different schools together, and we'll leave it at that. How about that? So, but anyway, so I brought that song to the table, and I played it for her, and she's like, the harmonies are amazing, but that song is so goddamn depressing, Fred. What are you thinking? It's like, the lyrics are awful. Oh my God, that poor bastard. You know, so
That is a great album. The By Way of Sorrow. Remember that song?
Oh, that's-
Oh, by
yeah,
way of
that's a great
sorrow, I
one.
love that
Holy
song.
shit. That
yeah,
solo-
I think my favorite off that album was Northern Cross.
Yeah, yes. Billy played it. I love it.
Yeah, they do the REM song too.
Yes.
like,
Yeah, that's
Fall on
actually
Me,
one of the
Fall
other
on
ones I was working up.
Fall
as
on
well.
me, fall on you,
Yep,
fall on.
Yeah. Great album.
There's a problem. Yeah, that's actually one of the ones I'm trying to work into the set list now.
You know, by way of sorrow too. That's like a Julie Miller song. You know, Buddy and Julie Miller. I think
Yep.
she might have written that, but that's another great fucking song. The
Oh,
original.
there's
is really
so many good, and that the Robert Earl Keen song that they do, Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of shades of gray,
Hey. All right, Randy.
Phone setup.
That was like a conjurer's trick.
it's not easy to do segues. I was
That's
waiting
a-
for the right segue.
That was a good
Always got it.
segue,
It's
Ed. That was
amazing.
Well done.
Unbelievable.
the speaking.
I was
of-
going to say, speaking of people I'm trying to work in, like
Yeah,
I'm listening for the segue. I'm not hearing it. My finger's on the button, you know. How you doing,
Well,
Randy?
just
Hey,
like
you know,
Angelo.
Somebody
I'm good.
could've
How are you guys
started talking
doing?
about basses
We're fine. How are you, man? Good to see you.
Or
Good.
harmony pedals. You know.
I perceive a different haircut, Randy. since I
Yeah, it
saw
was
you.
about time. Every now and then, my wife looks at me and says, "You look like a homeless person."
Well,
So that's kind of my
You look
the
like a
subtle
very
hint. The
look like a-
subtle hint that I should go get a haircut. So yeah,
So
it was
what-
like
so-
yesterday.
So when are you
My
going
wife
for the
reaches out
haircut?
about once a day.
See what he did there? See what he did there?
You look like a well-trimmed homeless person. Yeah.
Are you gonna wear that again?
Yeah, you're gonna wear that? Oh, great, nice. Yeah, I used to get that a lot. I'm colorblind, so when the days of when I was corporate and wearing suits and stuff, I'd be rushing out the door. She's like, "Are you gonna wear that?" I'm like,
You're like, whoa, don't
no,
do that,
I just
don't do that."
fucking put this.
Randy,
I was-
happy anniversary to you too.
Oh,
Thank you,
hey,
man.
happy anniversary.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
Wow.
thank you,
happy
man.
anniversary.
We got all these
Wow.
anniversaries and weddings and yeah.
David is like our intelligence officer on the show. You can't
David,
get anything
good. Yeah,
by him.
David notices stuff, and I've been
Not
watching his.
mistakes,
I've been
David.
watching his drum tracks. They're very good. They're quite good, man.
Yeah, they are.
The guy in the drum chair. He's the
Yeah.
guy in the drum chair.
The drum chair.
I dig it.
He's right.
Absolutely, but you know, you have an olive in your salad, and he's like, make a note. I'm going to mention that on the show.
I love you guys.
So what about
Nick,
this?
are you gonna sing something tonight? or play something tonight?
Well, actually, I have been working on something, but it hasn't been showing much daylight. But I've been keeping this hand active despite the surgery. So yeah, well, I don't know. Is this okay to do it now, Ed?
Are you actually going to play? I didn't want to say anything. I didn't think you were going to play.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is he gonna,
Well, we'll give it a shot.
That's it.
So it's anyway. I'm not going to explain it. We'll just let it roll. Here we
All
go.
right.
Can you hear it all right?
Yeah, you there?
Okay. College, September 81. I remember how you looked. You said, I think we met before. That was all it took. You were talking with a guy from your hometown. He went to get drinks for two. Before he came back, we were out the door. Ain't that me and you? Now your first job out of school was in Atlanta. Mine was way up north. Long distance love takes work. That's what planes are for. You asked me what's next and I stumbled over words and came around to the truth. And we married in the January snow. Ain't that me and you? Ain't that me and you? Working through the smooth and the rough. Always believing we're enough. Ain't that me and you? Early years were happy. Then later came the strain. Nights I came home late, no explanation. You said that's gotta change. Thrown around like sparrows in the roar of a storm blowing through. We made it home again, sharing the same umbrella. Ain't that me and you? Ain't that me and you? Working through the times that are tough. Always believing we're enough. Ain't that me and you? Even now when we walk, there's not a ray of light between us. It still looks like we just fell in love to anyone who's just seen us. Every time I tell you you're the best that I could ever hope to do, you kiss me and you smile and you say, babe, that's true. Ain't that me and you? Sometimes a little off the cuff. Always believing we're enough. Ain't that me and you? College, September 81. I remember how you looked. You said, I think we met before. That was all it took.
That's a great tune.
Yeah, it's very
Really
nice.
nice song.
Wow.
Very
wow,
nice.
wow, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, that's been
Beautiful.
been in the
That was
works for a bit.
that's the best thing I've ever heard you play here. Personally.
Wow.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
better than all that other crap you do normally.
That's right.
Thank God. Thank God.
Other future. No, it had heart and it had soul and it sounded like
Yeah,
you and it was
Stop,
a real
Will.
thing.
Stop.
You know. Okay, sorry. I have to speak. I have to get it up. I can't. You know, are you noticing I'm turning more and more orange as the show goes on? I have to
Oh my
speak
God.
before
I love
I
it.
like turn brown or something. I don't know. I'm gonna become an Indian.
I was well trained. I had a friend whose wife, you'd say, "Oh, you cut your hair. It looks great." She'd be like, "Oh, really? So you didn't like it before?" Like, like
Yeah, that's
I'm well trained.
It's like when you have a beard and you get it shaved. Hey Ed, can I read something? This is sort of like wedding anniversary night.
Yeah.
You know, it's got this
Sure.
whole theme, and this was something I wrote for my son on his wedding night.
Oh, wow.
That's which was just 6 months ago, and it's I'll just read it. It's kind of off the wall. It's twilight. He learned to ride his bike tonight, and he's exploring the neighborhood. I'm proud of him. It's been just the two of us a long time. Suddenly, a few blocks away, he shoots straight up into the night sky with a streaking tail of light. He becomes a dot in the sky and swirls into a circle, chasing another trail of light. The bikes meet and the sky explodes with stars and sparks and lights and color. And the two kids suddenly swoop downward and they're both racing through the air in a circle of light around me in the driveway. And I spin as fast as I can to try to catch the laughter in the faces, glowing in the light of the sparks and the stars and the streaks of light behind them as they race around me. And they look happy. They look really happy. And suddenly they soar up into the night sky and over the horizon, and they're gone. Maybe I'll get myself a bike.
I love it. That's
All
great.
right.
I like that so much better than the other songs you played.
Thank you, yeah.
No.
No, that was the revenge that he got because his son said he didn't want any singing at the wedding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, "I'll read you a poem."
What about poetry?
That's right. There you go.
There was a young man from Nantucket. Total like, revenge.
So
Very nice.
did you recite that at the wedding? Like, was that?
No, I wrote it after the wedding.
No.
Yeah. So
Missed opportunity.
No,
Oh, same. It's nice.
I was.
I like it.
I did. I did. The typical dull. Father of the groom rehearsal
Come
dinner.
on.
night.
Come
It was,
Come on.
it was good. It was actually one of my son's friends came up to me, this young girl, and she says, that your speech, it was just beautiful. It made me want to cry. And I thought, yeah, I really nailed it. And I thought, what a bastard you are to actually be happy that this girl cry. What kind of a jerk are you?
No.
I'm sure
crying is
somebody
what
has
you
an
want.
opinion.
You want crying. Crying is
Right.
good.
You do. You want,
Use
that.
it.
You want people to see themselves
Make 'em
somehow in what you write. So.
Make
Yeah.
him feel.
Yeah.
I actually got a wedding speaking gig out of doing my speeches to the.
What?
I got a gig like this kid I know who's getting married later on this summer. He came up to me and go like, "My grandfather is supposed to read this thing, but we're not sure he's going to show. Would you do it in his stead? Would you read the thing?"
Wow.
Do you have to dress up as his grandfather?
Yeah.
And, like,
I don't think I have to do it in
Like
a
a
dialect
beard
or
or-
anything, but who knows?
Oh my God. You don't know whether it's a compliment or whether it's an insult,
Right.
Like, so you think I'm old or you think I'm like stately? I mean,
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure they know
you
he's
know,
old, but
That
we're
whole
all
thing
old.
where
Here, so.
like I don't know how everybody is in our Brady Bunch Partridge family configuration here, but it's like
it's true.
the idea that there's something about public speaking that's extremely traumatic to people.
Yeah.
I was not given that fucking tailbone.
Yeah, same
Like,
here. I was like,
that's not. And
yeah.
to me, it's like music prepares you for things in life that are like that. You have already
True.
laid your emotions and your soul out there to completely uncaring human beings.
When you
right. And
think-
you've
yeah.
messed stuff up before. You've totally butchered things, and people are like, "I didn't notice," or "I forgive you," and you're like, "All right, I'm invincible."
But if you just keep it straight from the heart, and if you just and get a couple of laughs, it's like, again, it's the greatest audience you will ever fucking have.
Right. And act like you're talking to
true.
one person.
Yeah, and
Right.
Don't
nobody.
stand up there and talk to people. Just act like you're talking to one person. I used to do a lot of public speaking. I agree with you.
I mean, to me, it's like I only have one bar, and it's me. Like, if I think it's okay, I'll say it, and if other people don't like it, that's okay. But to me, it's like I won't do it until I think until it it works for me. And
I
if,
agree. Sure.
if there's something funny in it or whatever, what I think is funny,
That's the way to go about it. Yeah, absolutely.
that's the only criteria. Like the rest of
Absolutely.
it, you know, that's why you might slave on shit. You know, like you can slave on things because you're like, that's not funny enough yet, or that's not something enough yet. But once you've satisfied yourself, the rest of it is just
Oh yeah.
it's just casting a room.
Generally,
That's always been the
people-
mantra.
People want you to do well. They don't want you to
Absolutely.
suck. They want you
Yeah,
to
that's
do well.
true.
So you just meet them halfway. You really.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I teach. You all know I teach electronic music through this nonprofit in Bridgeport. And we had the first ever when I joined about 45 years ago. I joined them, and they had like 20 of the teachers in a big conference room, and we like a gym turned into a conference room. We're all sitting around, and they go, "Oh, we'd like to introduce our new teacher." And as is a tradition, we go around the table and we talk about a little bit about ourselves and what we do and introduce. So I'd like we'll start with Ed and to tell us who you are and what you do and whatever. So I talked for about 10 minutes, right? I'm like, we're doing
I'm a
electronic
complex
music,
guy. Yeah.
and we're doing this electronic music program and this and that and how I ended up there and all this thing. And the next person went, and my name is Linda and I teach violin.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so now every time there's a staff meeting, they're like, you have 20 seconds, Ed.
Oh,
The academy's playing them off.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You get the music for it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
tell you,
music,
I've been to a bunch of weddings in the past year. A lot of cousins on my wife's side were getting married and stuff, and it's like the father of the bride. Oh my God! Sometimes, man, they just fucking can't shut up. You know, and it,
Oh
like,
my God. Yes.
it
Yeah.
starts with like. There was a fertilized egg and a sperm that found its way to, and then it's like, and then you go through, school, and then you're like everything.
I used to say that to people I worked with. We used to practice presentations and stuff. And I was like, that commercial, I've fallen and I can't get up. It's like,
Right.
I'm talking and I can't shut up.
There it is.
that's right.
That's it. All right, so I got a package. I'm going to change the subject. I got a package, right? So I do this.
Hey, we've all heard that.
I got a package, everybody. Everybody. So like I need it to be Christmas at least once a month. Like
careful with your circular saw.
I got to get a little something, right? So like I have this new company called Temu. Does anybody do Temu? They're like this Chinese company, and they're like like Amazon, right?
And
And
that
so
was what I
like
was thinking. It
sure
sounded like
don't.
one of those-
so I got this guy. I got this little wind-up robot. It reminds me, and he's made of metal. Like he's he's made like they were made when I was a kid.
Oh,
and
we were kids.
He'll walk
Yeah.
or whatever. So and then I got this shirt. Yeah, but it's like he's like $3 delivered, and the shirt's like $3. And I'm like, oh, I need it to be Christmas, right? But then
Made out of lead. Yeah.
there you go. The problem is, then I got the courage up after a while to order this, right? And you think, oh, it's a CD, right? It's like, well, not exactly. It's got like it's got
What is
a
it?
it's got a needle sticking out of it, right?
Oh,
And it's got knobs on it and whatever.
Well,
And then it's got like a heat sink on the bottom
What
that's
is
like
that?
from an aircraft carrier, right? I'm sure this is illegal, right?
Oh,
So I'll show you what it's a Tesla coil, right? So this is
Oh,
the
wow.
coil, and it creates lightning in the air.
You
Oh,
mean
yeah,
normally
yeah.
the kind of thing that's inside a protective piece of glass to keep.
Yes,
it from electrocuting
normally it's in
yourself?
a
Yeah,
globe,
that's right.
right? But
Yeah.
so I can't. It doesn't show up on the camera, but so I have this other thing that I got before called an Olegtron. It's from Finland. It's handmade by this guy in
Oleg.
Finland, and it's like
Right.
this electric thing. So I got the Olegtron is like a synthesizer, octave divider, oscillator thing, whatever. This thing comes with light bulbs that you can hold up like near it, and the light bulbs will light through the air, right? Which is pretty cool. So I made a video today. I just wanted to like show what this thing does. So I'm gonna make you guys watch it. It's like my wedding speech. Watch this. check this out. This is a test for the Olegtron getting controlled by the lightning in the Tesla coil.
Okay.
better wear a
That
helmet when
looked
you.
dangerous
Wow.
at all.
Yeah, wear a helmet when you ride that thing.
I think the drummer's on amphetamines.
There you go. And if you hold your finger near it, if you turn it on and hold your finger near it, I don't know.
You're an
know.
idiot.
Yeah,
You're an idiot.
you're gonna grow a third.
Podcast turned tragic today.
You're gonna grow a
Look at
third
that.
testicle. Yeah.
You're going to need some,
Sort of see
some
it, right?
crazy glue and some
Yeah, I
duct
can
tape
see
if
it.
you do that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
Okay.
It gets a little hot after a while. It's like, ow.
Oh, wow.
Radiation does that, Sparky.
It's like 50,000 volts, you know?
Yeah, it's only 2,000 volts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus
Not the
Christ.
volts
so-
that do it. It's not the volts that will kill him. It's the stupidity.
And
right, yeah.
exactly. And it'll play music. You can hook it up to Bluetooth and it'll play music. So I have all kinds of musical players.
Allegedly.
Oh my God.
Just, I have to ask because I sent him a video of somebody doing a compilation of some popular song with all of these bizarre ass instruments. How many of those instruments have you now bought?
Well, I
I
don't
have
know.
to know.
I've got this guy, and then I've got a whole bunch of these, right? These are Korg makes these, right? And then I don't know, probably about 30 of them, something like that.
All right.
I wasn't sure whether or not the one because I sent him a video of this guy doing Seven Nation Army with
Yeah,
all these
right.
weird little instruments, like the perfect kind of things that he already owns. He's probably got half of them anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a thing, you know. But then there's there's the oh, I'm gonna get you can't say Bud Light anymore. But I'm gonna get a beer, right? But then there's the Olegtron. You can't say Bud Light, like it's gone off the rails. And you got that, and you got like this. This is sort of like the gateway drug to something really
The
bad.
it's the gateway electronics. Yeah,
What,
man,
you know,
that
you
leads
can
to some
buy a
really
Moog
hard stuff.
synthesizer, and you can buy an ARP synthesizer, and you can buy a Buchla, and then you're getting weird, but not weird like these things.
Yeah,
And-
just that first thing that
Wow.
you were touching your hand over, just don't leave that on a chair. Okay.
Yeah,
exactly,
that could
right.
be, yeah.
Leave
The
it on
fire
a chair
department, yeah.
on, right?
Your response for your fire department is probably about 35 minutes if they're all
And, you know, it
volunteers, so-
comes with like a safety sheet, right? But
Yeah,
there's nothing
sure.
about safety on it. It's like nothing. Oh,
It's
it's
just
oh no,
Chinese.
the safety sheet says don't sit on the needle or something.
It's like some
man.
obvious, yeah.
It says like
Wow.
yeah,
All of these
the
Amazon
safety
products.
sheet basically says plug it in and turn it on, and then do not place objects in the coil because it may turn black.
There's the safety sheet right there. That's the
Thank
safety
you for your purchase from Miso Honey Enterprises.
Sony.
Electricity spelled with 3 I's. Electricity
Yeah.
needle is very pointed. Be careful.
Yeah. Well, that's
Very
at least,
nice.
I mean,
The extra
all of the
eyes for
Amazon-
insanity. That's right.
Exactly.
And what do you do for fun?
Exactly.
So when you put this
decisions.
together with your C4,
Yikes.
how does it work? You know,
Yeah. It actually says do not use around explosives.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
but next to it is like an emoji winking eye. You know, it's like
Exactly.
Are we
Yeah.
circling back to the Barry bomb thing where he bought the bomb and it says this is a bomb in like whatever language it was and it just repeats that the bomb is being moved. The bomb is being moved. The bomb is being moved.
Hey, and Ted Kaczynski just died.
I
Yeah,
know.
right.
Terrible.
Oh yeah.
That's
Lost.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, what a shame.
Good.
You know, thoughts and prayers to his family.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
I saw a
Yeah.
video the other day. It was a stewardess on an airplane, and there's a guy. He's trying to cut his steak with the plastic knife they give you on the plane, and he says to the waitress in the sky to the flight attendant, she says, "Can I get a real knife because I can't cut the steak?" And she goes, "No, you can only have things made of plastic, right?" And then the guy across the aisle is like holding a bomb. It looks like a bomb, and she goes, "What is that?" And he goes, "It's a bomb, but it's okay because
Oh.
it's plastique."
God.
Wah, wah.
So,
Da-da-da-boom.
so I had a night, like the night after the wedding thing. I'm up in Vermont with these friends of mine who were invited to the wedding. And we wanted to have like one night of just normalcy where it has nothing to do with wedding. The wedding's over, the kids are gone, like all this stuff. And I became aware of this thing, which I'm sure if any of you are like, big time culinary guys, I had never heard of this before, but it's that technique. It's called like sustain or something, where you basically are boiling meat,
Yes.
put it in this thing, and it.
I thought that was
boils.
like Irish cooking.
Sexting.
Well,
It's
but
sexting.
But it comes
Yeah.
out, it's I forget, it's like sus something, and it's like a heating element that goes into water, and your meat is in a baggie,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
and it's like
Yeah.
that's right,
hey,
that's
hey.
right.
You got to be safe
It's
these
in
days.
a
You gotta be
baggie.
safe.
We used to call that a condom in my days.
Not that big a baggie either, I have
Do
to tell
not
you.
mock
But
this
anyway,
method.
the-
No,
baggy.
This
I've
stuff-
done that method.
See what
They
happens
have,
when we
like,
don't play music
filet.
on this channel, Ed?
I know it just goes downhill fast,
So,
but
Bill,
Randy
tell me
catches
more.
it. That's the
What
thing.
did you have? What food did you have that way?
it was like fillet of some sort, and it was like it was cooked perfectly.
His name was
and
Phil,
you
what?
cannot overcook it. It
Yeah.
reaches
Something from under that
something,
camera underneath Ed's house.
and then you sear it. So you guys don't know anything about this, okay? So you're like
Yes,
me,
no,
but this
I
We
is
do.
still don't know.
Thank God. Yeah.
that's true.
That's how culinary we
Bill
are.
is
Fine,
not-
not
Bill
knowing
is-
more.
Hey,
Bill is
listen,
not
I've watched
hallucinating.
Beat Bobby
I've
play
done
about
that
800
method.
times, and believe me, I know a lot about
Yeah.
cooking. But but this thing was like I'd never heard of it, and it was like brilliant, and it also
Sous vide.
you couldn't fuck it up.
Is that what you called it, Bill? Sous vide?
Something like that. That's
Yeah. I saw a guy do it once, and I bought a gadget to do it. And
Put your meat in the bag and you can't fuck it up.
I'm 1 for 2. 1 for 2. I
This
cooked
keeps
if it
getting
works-
worse.
if it
I
works,
got
it really
worked
works.
beautifully. I did some salmon on it once, and just like that in the plastic bag, slow cook. It was superb. I know the salmon wasn't so good. The meat came out better. I did it. So I've done it twice. Once
It feels like
successfully.
it feels like it might work
once
better for
not so
me.
good. Yeah.
That reminds me, there was a cookbook. This was a long time ago of truckers cooking food on their engine in aluminum foil,
Yeah. Sure.
and the title was brilliant. It was called Manifold Destiny.
That's right.
There you go.
And seriously, and they're like, how to put everything together. Go at 50 miles an hour for 30 minutes, go over, flip it over, and
I cook.
Very
This is a
good
true story.
story.
When I go on my motorcycle trips, there's a true story. I always have a can of soup on, like not the condensed
Just
soup,
in
but like the
case.
ready-made soup, Progresso soup or whatever, on the cylinder head.
there you
So
go.
that
Right.
so when I'm cold and I get where I'm going, I have the soup to look forward to.
Yeah.
Smart. It's very smart.
Hey.
You know, you're welcome.
Well said, Bill.
Sous-wee, sous-wee.
Very
The
good.
sous-wee bag.
Very good.
Oh God, help us
Oh my
all.
God. So where are you playing, Randy? What's your gig schedule? Plug some stuff.
Let's see. Tomorrow I'm at Ponza with Third Rail, and then Sunday on I'm at Joey C's Boathouse in Stratford. A double bill. My band Rough Dogs with Christine Cook's Cooked Up. I go on at 2 and she goes on at 6, and then
Is
What
there
else?
something that goes on between you? They don't have to play for
Yeah, it's
4
all
hours, do they?
no, we have it's like 2 to 5 and then 6 to 9. So there's an hour
Yeah,
in between.
turnover time.
And I'm with the girls at the Fairfield Gazebo on Thursday.
Fantastic.
So busy week.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm thrilled. I'm happy to do
Good
it.
to be working.
I probably overbooked myself in June, but I don't care. It gets me out of the house and all
Don't you have
that shit.
something with Laura Bazalik too?
Yes, thank you for that.
No,
Yes, I
no,
forgot.
no,
You were the
I'm not-
connection for that.
I'm not bringing it up for that purpose. I'm just telling the world. 'Cause
No,
she's
but
pretty good.
I'm trying to learn her songs feverishly because
Yeah, she's
I
pretty
just
good.
I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then I get this list, and they're fun songs, but like 35 songs and half are originals. And as you guys know, learning originals is you got to put the time in. It's like
Yeah, that's problematic.
Yeah.
but they're nice. She seems really sweet, and the songs are cool. So thank you very much for that connection, Nick. Absolutely. And I haven't met anybody in the band, and we have a rehearsal on Monday.
Good.
And then we gig at Club London on Saturday.
Cool.
Fun.
Very
should
nice.
And then
bring
check
some
the
of that.
obituaries, and you'll see my name in there.
That's
on the
right.
front.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Just
Especially
to
if you bring
venture
some
into
of that-
practical. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, especially if you bring some of that Irish meat
Yeah.
crap that they were talking about with you.
Yeah.
You'll
In the
definitely
bag,
be in
yeah.
the obituary.
Look what I brought everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
A meat in a bag. It's like,
Yeah.
Irish meat. It's like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Irish
So-
meat. Yeah, it's
Just to venture into practical technology. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't work on the original side of things, but one of the apps I recently have started using a lot for doing set lists and things is this one called Songbook Pro,
So-
which
Oh,
is
yeah?
What
it's
do
a-
it do?
what it
So-
basically does is it works as a tablature thing. where you
Songbook
can
Pro.
basically, it's like $8, I think, or something like that, and it lets you create set lists. Which I'm going to try and hold it up here to the camera. But so, for instance, you can bring these up, and it'll scroll the chords for you.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It will
Yeah.
transpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like if the singer plays it in A, you can change the key on
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
have
It
one of
changes all the
those.
other keys.
Yeah.
And you can also create sets with it that you can share across to other people.
Yeah,
if
that's right.
everybody
You
in the
beam
band
across to the
has
other-
the
yeah.
app.
Yeah,
You can
I do
share
have
it
one of those
across.
transposing gizmos. That's right. Matter of fact, Nick, Laura wants to do White Room, but
Yeah.
like 2 steps up.
Hmm.
And for old school guys like us that are used to playing that the way it's played and taking advantage of open strings and shit, I'm like, fuck, it's
Yeah,
not
what are we
hard, but you
doing?
have to get
Yeah.
used to it. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm
E
doing the
minor.
same thing.
So
Yes.
I use Ultimate Guitar. Does anybody use that thing?
Oh yeah.
Tablet.
I use the site. Yeah. I
use-
used to
I've
use
got a-
OnSong Live, but
I've got a gig on Sunday, and the guy who's helping me, I'm not going to play. He's going to play keyboard with me and back me up. And we're using Ultimate Guitar, which is transposable, and it lays down lyrics. He's very good on keyboard, so he's going to follow the charts. But it's Ultimate Guitar, and I have it on an iPad, and I send a bunch of stuff to him. So I'm just curious if anybody uses it.
yeah.
I
use it-
find sometimes with Ultimate Guitar you have to adjust the chords. Like
Yeah, you have to look for the right.
there's
like
sometimes they're right and
arrangements,
sometimes they're not right.
They're-
Sometimes
Yeah, there's a definite Wikipedia element to Ultimate Guitar.
yeah, there's
not,
some of it,
It's less than
Okay.
I've found that that Songbook Pro one is very, very consistent. I mean, there are different versions that are out there, but it lets you go through and choose them. So I thought that's a really, really good one for any kind of gigging musician that plays with multiple people. And the cool thing about it also is, like I said, it was like $8, but for whatever platform you own, once you pay the $8, you could put it on any. If you've got multiple devices in that
Really?
platform, it goes
Nice.
across.
An
So that's
iPhone,
it.
an
So
iPad,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So if you've got an Android device and a tablet, you could do it, pay the one time, and you can put it on both things and
Yeah.
use it. So,
Yeah.
that's
So, Nick,
kinda
I'm
nice.
coming into the room late. What's going on with the hand?
Arthroscopic. I had rotator cuff surgery 2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
shit.
But it was I've done some research, and the MRI said minor tear. And I asked the surgeon when it was over with. I said, "Now, honestly, how bad was it?" He said, "No, on a scale of 1 to 10, he said about a 3 to 4, 3 or 3 and 4." He said, "Behave yourself. You should be playing your guitar again, within a
Nice.
month or so."
Good.
But
It's
And
funny.
there is
Doc,
one
I couldn't
out
play
tonight.
before.
I'm actually playing on Sunday, and I've got a bunch of gigs through the summer that I'm not giving up. Just
Yeah. How's it
took
feel?
took me 6. So far, it's not bad at all, Randy. Thanks.
I just I have issues everywhere, but I had a shoulder issue, and I just had a gel injection in my shoulder, and well, it's not exactly like perfect. It's pretty fucking good once it kicked in after 4 weeks. It's
Is that cortisone?
it's helped a lot.
Cortisone, Randy?
Pardon me?
Cortisone?
No, some sort of. I had a steroid injection, and that helped. And the guy's like, "Look, before the house gets on fire again, we can actually inject a gel." A lubricant gel with like nutrients. I don't fucking know. Answers yes. What's the
Cannoli
question?
filling is
Sure,
what it was.
doc.
Come on.
Like, hit me up.
Inject a
But
chewable
it's actually
vitamin.
helped, and it, carrying gear and all that shit. I just,
Yeah,
I've got new. Ed, you'll be thrilled. I've got new speaker cabinets that they are 14 pounds. They're carbon.
Wait, you already talked about these. You already bragged
you talked
about
I
it.
did. Okay, all right, all right.
Like
Yeah.
from Italy or something, right?
Yeah. But that's one of the things that wrecked my shoulder is carrying the fucking heavy speakers. So
yeah.
I ran into a friend of mine, a guy named Jay Newland, who's a really good musician, and he's a great producer. He worked on and got a Grammy for Norah Jones's like breakthrough album and everything. But
Wow.
I saw him last night at this Leonid and Friends thing at the Wall Street Theater, and I said, "So you're still playing?" Because he had a band called Voodoo Carnival, and they were pretty good. And he's a really good
him, yeah.
guitarist.
Dave Rao played with. I know him, yes, and Kim Crowder was
so
their singer. Yes,
I asked him, "You still playing?" and everything. He said, "No." And I go, "You're kidding." It was like, "I'm kind of retired." He said, "I got tired of being the sound guy." And I know what he means. Like, if you have to hump the fucking PA to these
Yes.
things, it's like,
yeah.
the humping of the equipment has become like a big freaking factor to me. Anyway,
That was one of the factors that a great band I was in called the B-Side Band, which is now, as the British would say, tits up. Just not happening. And managing the sound and stuff was one of the killers of the band.
it's a bummer. You know?
Yeah, it is.
I'm actually taking a look. The next set of speakers I'm going to probably get are by a company called Alto, and they're
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I
and
use
they've
the
got a
Altos.
whole
They're
range.
great.
Yeah, and I think it's like a 10-inch speaker, like 1,000 watts for like.
There you go.
Yeah, so
something like that.
I
And
went
you
to
could juggle the damn thing.
I went to Long Island to buy some subwoofers for that I wanted. I had a blowout of a subwoofer at a gig, and so the guy was selling 2 of them for the price of 1. I was like, all right, I'm going to drive to Long Island. So I drove all the way out to Long Island, and I get to the place, and the guy goes, oh, no, it's not just the subwoofers. It includes the mains. And I'm like, the mains? And he's like, yeah, these. And they're literally this big.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
And they weigh it's like picking up a milk jug that you think is full, but
Yeah.
it's empty. It's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing in
You're
there.
like, how many watts is this?
And I
1,000
said,
watts?
I don't want them. And he goes,
Yeah.
no, they're amazing. Like, I DJ whole weddings and giant things with the sub and this. I'm like, what? And so that's all I use. That's what I used at Bobby Q's, and I use it without a sub.
Are they
They're
powered?
amazing.
And I have now gigged probably 10 times with these super lightweight speakers. They are the best sounding and loudest fucking things I've ever played through.
Right.
Without a doubt. Like nothing comes close.
Randy, what's the brand?
It's called GR. GR bass.
Yeah, the
Okay.
ones
So
the
they're
ones
base
that he's
cabinet.
got has a comma in it, but the Alto.
Oh,
I
the
think they're-
fancy Bose stuff. Yeah.
No,
Huh?
I'm showing you this for a reason. I have a little system like this. It's a little column. It does just fine.
I know
But
what that
here- but
is.
here-
That's the tone match.
It's exactly right. But here's the deal. When I play small rooms or something, I turn it down because people need to talk and hear.
Yeah.
But the problem is because of where I positioned myself relative to this little column,
Yeah.
column behind me, I can't really hear myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just finessing it. Everybody says, oh, the sound is fine. You're not, I just don't want you too loud. So what I want is a little floor monitor or an ear
Yes.
monitor that'll plug into this thing. And I looked around. I have to tell you, I haven't looked that hard lately, but I would welcome anybody's suggestion if you happen to know of anything that would tap into this tone match.
Yeah.
and
So
be a
what you
little-
get?
I
They
need a
make
floor monitor. I want
Gal-
a
You need a
Galaxy-
small powered. Yeah.
Galaxy makes them.
Yeah, that's what
I
have.
use the Mackie, and Behringer makes one. They're about this big, like a loaf of bread, and
Right.
it sits on a mic stand in front of you.
Okay.
It's got a 150 watt amp and a long throw 5-inch speaker, and it's like kick ass.
Or you could do somebody mentioned Alto. I recently got for my jam basement 2x8 powered floor monitors. They're angled. I got them used, dirt cheap. They're fine. I mean, they're not for big gigs, but they work. And that tone match thing, Nick, I have a couple of those Bose systems.
Yeah.
That tone match, man, it's just not it's not ergonomic. It's not user friendly. It's a fucking pain in the ass. All the shit that you twist around on that stupid little LCD screen, like you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind that. I get it to work pretty well.
I hate it.
But anyway, that's okay. I appreciate the opinion just the same. So,
Yeah,
so what
Doesn't
about the
everybody?
monitor?
Just ask
So-
Bill. Yeah.
I noticed no one's not using the voice transposer
Yeah,
anymore.
I know.
Thought I'd mention
No,
that.
you have that wrong. I will use it. It's for special.
I've started,
occasions.
and I have a new income stream of manufacturers who send me checks every month not to trash their shit on your show.
There you go.
I pretty much, if I'm limited to gigs that
Someone tell
Randy
me the name
doesn't
of those
show up
speakers
at,
again.
I still have a lot of. gigs
I
can
use the
play.
Mackie. I use the Mackies, and they're great. It's like a
I'm not a
SM3.
giant fan of the Bose systems, to tell you the truth. I don't own one myself, and I play with different people. And if you're in a small room, I like them very much. If you're in a larger space, I prefer a speaker on a friggin' stand.
But that's the problem. It's a speaker on a fucking stand.
So
Yeah,
As
but I mean,
opposed
I've
to
got one.
smaller pieces that you could break down and stack. Nothing's perfect. I'm with you, Bill. Those systems sound way better. But
So
mother of
what
pearl,
is
getting
it
those
you're
things up-
talking about? For example, I have a JBL that I put on a column.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like a floor monitor, and I have a tripod. And when I'm playing in a bigger venue or outside
Yeah.
or something, I have the Bose here and the big JBL sitting in the corner. To Bill's point about needing some horsepower if you're in a big
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
I got something. So
I just find
Yeah,
there's
go.
no separation and projection when you have the speakers that are out there. When there's and the different people I play with who have the Bose systems, they have wildly different opinions of where the thing gets placed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I have some people who put it behind them. I have some
Yeah.
people who put it in front of them. But I find, like, as we're all saying here, the reference in those systems is not great. You know, like
No, it's not. No, Bill, you're
hear
spot
what's
on.
going on.
And there's two versions of it. If I get uber geeky, the columns, the one version has these little 3-inch speakers that are stacked up like this.
Right.
The better one has speakers that are arrayed like they're more dispersed in the sound. They aim in different directions. That's a little bit better, but placement of those fucking things is, and it changes with every room or outdoor.
It's alien technology. Bose is like aliens. They're trying to save up money for
we talked about this, and you're right, Ed. They are.
And
it all works great in Rory's. You know, like it works great in Rory's. But I can also play in Rory's with my Fender Acoustasonic and like, you know, 2 inputs. You know, I can do that too. You know?
Yeah. So and that was the piece that I was going to recommend, actually.
Who is that?
Who is that?
I guess Nick's got a thing. I was going to mention an amp for him, but all right. So we'll talk.
Frank, I want to hear it. Just give me 1 second.
Oh, for you, I'll give you 5.
What a guy.
It's the ice cream man.
You know, there's
quart of
horsepower, wattage and horsepower. You know, Bose that's basically a line array. If you go to a big rock concert and you see the line array speakers that are lined up, and you know the way that the sound waves intersect.
Go, Frank,
you know,
I want to hear.
That's what a Bose is. A Bose is a line array system. It's small.
But the line arrays are on either side of the stage, and there's a set of them.
Well,
it's
the
not
Bose,
a line array
like
down
Randy
the middle
was
of the
saying,
set,
the Bose points them like this, so it's a single source line array.
Yeah,
it's ingenious and it's expensive, but it's something about having a V8 Hemi engine, with a lot of wattage.
Absolutely.
Frank, what were you going to say?
Well, the one that I've found recently, I've been doing a little bit of research in it. It's there's a line of amplifiers from Blackstar that are specifically geared towards solo acoustic performers.
A buddy of mine has that. He loves it.
And there's 3 different models that are worth the powder to blow them to hell, in my opinion. There's like a 20-watt version, there's a 60-watt version, and then there's a 120-watt version. Each one of them has individual tone circuits, so you can do the guitar and the vocal straight in. It's got a nice selection of reverbs. It's got DI outs, depending on which one you use. And then from there, it also has something built into the tone circuit where the usual high pass filter that they build into most amplifiers that takes care of all the mud, which is where the goodness is in an acoustic guitar, they make it a tunable thing. So you can bring that real bottom in. And the cabinets on the bigger ones they've got bass ports on them.
Wow,
so you can get this great low end and really get an acoustic guitar to sound like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, really full. Yeah.
And the best part about the damn things is they have like a little threaded thing on the bottom of them. So you can either run the thing in and kick it back at you as a monitor and then do the DI out into whatever you're using, or you could put the damn thing on a speaker stand right by itself. For the bigger one. I'm on a wait list to get the 120 watt. I bought the 60 and it was great, but it just wasn't quite enough to do some of the medium-sized rooms I was doing just with that.
Yeah, the 60 only goes up to 10. The 120 goes to 11.
Yeah, I mean it worked for the small room I was at, and it sounded amazing. And the other cool thing about it is it's got a USB out. So you go straight into your phone and you can streamcast the gig, or you could use it for this thing.
Wow.
So it's got a whole slew of options. And I think the big one's like $400, I think.
Oh, wow.
On
bargain,
Sweetwater.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah. It's a solid piece. I mean, literally that thing and a single powered speaker and an XLR cable, that's all you need. That's it. Yeah. You got the one thing blowing back at you and the one speaker going out, you're done.
Right.
And it's one for each hand. And then the gig bag on your shoulder,
All I want is a monitor at my foot. I just want to hear it.
Yeah. So if you take a look, there's a 20-watt version that you can use as a monitor, and then you go out into the other.
Okay. Well, all right. I have to think about that. Yeah.
So it's
but I've taken notes with what everybody said. Even Randy, who's been vociferously anti-Bose, I made notes.
No, I own 2 of them.
What they do, they do fantastically well.
So you own them, okay?
I own. Yeah. I lend out to one of my bands an L1 Model 2, and I have another one sitting in my basement. I got them used, and they were like, it's like old analog stereo stuff. You know, you can get the coolest shit there was from 20 years ago
Right,
for
okay.
not that much money, but today's technology, you can do much better for the money.
So far.
Yeah.
You know what? They do the job, but the limitations and the flaws that Bill pointed out are valid. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
No,
like the
I'm
black art
taking
to get the
notes
sound
with
right
what
to roll.
everybody's saying.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was,
I'm
you know,
gonna-
you're talking about like the different, lyric things, and it almost suggested that there's something more advanced than the 3-ring binder I use. Is that possible?
That could be.
No, it's
That
all
could be.
it's fake news.
Is
Fake
that-
news.
It's analog.
It's a spiral.
Right. Oh,
Get the plastic sleeves for. Yes.
All right,
that-
gentlemen.
That's a mind
Hey,
blower.
this was great. It's
That's
good to
it
see
for
everybody, man.
TV show 148. Good to see you all.
Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yeah.
Happy
Oh,
Father's Day.
hell no, hell
To
no.
everybody. Yeah. See you, boys.